So I was gonna put some slides together and I thought, you know what, the heck with it. We're just gonna just show you the DDX. So wanna be, want to let you know the DDX is one part of the 2030 commitment. So the main part is signing a commitment letter to sign on. And then another big part is the sustainable action plan. So that is kind of talking about what you want to do for your firm and how you want to make progress over time. That's something that's updated periodically. So I'm just going to go just right into the DDX. The DDX, the 2030 commitment is not a certification program. It's a reporting tool. It's so that you can start tracking your projects and start seeing what's working and what's not. So I'm just going to go into here and I'm going to go to create a project, and I'm not going to, we can deep dive into this for quite a while. It's actually fairly simple, but I want to just concentrate on the simple thing. And the thing that was mentioned about the cover sheet, it was a comment I made and that had been made to me that most of the info that you are required to put into this is on your cover sheet. And you can certainly add more stuff. It's not required, but it's a good idea so that you can record it. But I'm just going to go ahead and make up a project here. So we're going to have the small firm exchange guest house. I guess you didn't know that that was coming, but, and I'll put in a job number. And I'll put in a type. So you can either do a whole building or interior. We're going to do a whole building. And again, I'm going to just blip through this. So I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but new construction, this will be in our Evanston office, United States. I'll put a zip code in and it starts populating some of this stuff when it knows where it's being done. So we'll jump into Illinois here. And that is climate zone 5A. And we'll be using imperial units. So now I'll just go to the second part. When do I think this building will be occupied? 2024. The energy code we're going to use is IECC 2018. The daily occupancy thing is, I think, more for business. So this doesn't really matter for this. The construction costs, you don't need to put this in. I'll just put in a number. Site work, we'll put in a number. And then it's asking what the baseline is. So you put in what type of building this is. I'm going to just put in a single family detached. You can put in any of these. And as soon as you put them in, it puts in a baseline down at the bottom. Once you put in the area, we'll make this a 2,500 square foot building. And now it populated a 49.5 baseline energy use intensity. So that's 49,500 BTUs per square foot per year. That's the national average for that. If you think you know better, you can go in and make your own custom one, but generally I would say just use that. And then the next thing is what your target is. So the 80% savings of that is 9.9 thousand BTUs per square foot. We're going to say, hey, we're just starting. We don't know how to do this quite yet. I'm going to just put in 27,000 BTUs per square foot per year, and that would be a 45%. Actually, let's make that a little better than that. Let's make it 22. So that's a 56%. And then there's a chart here to compare how that would start shaping up compared to other building types. So I'm going to go ahead and compare it to other single family detached in that same climate zone that I mentioned, 5A. And you get this chart down here. On the left, you see this 80% target, and there's the code equivalency. So if you did nothing else, the code is 45% better than baseline. So we're going to do a little bit better than that, but not a lot better. And then this is called a box and whiskers chart. The box is all the quartiles, you know, basically where all the action is. The whiskers, this part to the left and right, that's the maximum that someone submitted. So someone did 127% better than baseline, and someone submitted something that was zero, like terrible. So that's that. And then that's it. Oh, I'm sorry. So now we need to actually enter the data in. last page. So what phase are we at? Let's say we're in schematic design and we're reporting for this coming year, and we can put in the predicted energy. You can also optionally start doing all these other things. I'll show those, but we're not going to put them in. So we're going to put in a predicted thing. We're going to say the date that we're modeling it was, let's say, last month. And that modeling tool, this is just for knowledge. This is not critical to use, but we'll put in the one we use, which is FAIA, and then who's doing the modeling. Someone on the energy, on the architecture team, that's how we do it. You might have a modeling consultant, we'll put that. And then just for reference, like how much are you paying this person? Let's say $2,500 or something like that. Now you could deep dive into all this other stuff about where the fuel sources are coming from. We're not going to do that. We're just going to put in what that modeling consultant said it came in at. And let's say it came in at 50, the EUI. Well, let's say, yeah, we'll just say 50. And then that's all you need to do. There's parts to put in, for, like I said, for renewable energy, for predicted lighting density. That's primarily for commercial work where you're not impacting any of the mechanical systems. And embodied carbon, that's a heavy duty one that I would say don't worry about that right now. If you want, you can, but that's a whole nother animal. And then you can put in like the window to wall ratio. If you're doing commercial buildings, you can look at ASHRAE 90.1. You don't need to do any of that. So that's it. And I just, the only thing that I put in there was the EUI. And, oh, you know what? We're going to change that EUI. I'm sorry, I made it too good. Let's make it, let's make it 60. Nah, 55. I think that's probably fine. So, I am not sure why that's not showing up, but this shows the firm average and then compared to other projects that are similar in the DDX, so that you can see like right away that our firm is closer to that 80% line up there. We're only 1% better than savings than baseline. This is the baseline, our target, and then what we came in at. So we didn't get anywhere close to our target. And we can come back, and if we improve that, we can drop that way down to like 30 and then resubmit that. And now it's starting to track up here. So we're seeing where it's at. So that's the really, really fast way to look at this. And I know I went very quick, but I'm just wanting to tell you, this is not hard to do. Most of this, the only really tricky part is getting the EUI figured out. And if you can't figure that out, when you select what code you did, it tells you what your EUI is based on code. This is very similar for commercial projects. If you're doing just lighting, it's a little bit different, but it's actually less involved even than this. So I know I had 10 minutes. I probably did that in 5 minutes, but happy to take questions about it.
That was really great, Nate.
And I should also point out, the thing about this is you can put in notes like, hey, I use this type of wall system. I had the R value set this way. This was the contractor. If you want to track that stuff, like down here, project notes, this could be very important. This is a reference so that you can come back in a year, look at it, come back in 2 years, start comparing it to other ones. And then as you keep going through it, if you model it during construction documents or you get some final numbers, you can start inputting all this in and it'll start doing, tracking that. So like right now we have it active. If you go into this, you saw it had schematic design, design development, etc. So you can track it that way too.